So I'm at a friend's house. I went down to the body shop and got some more data from them, and also they're looking at the stick as well. They made copies of it, so I have the original stick as well. And I just was going through a couple of things, and I wanted to was that there's been a couple of incidents as I explained before, and I also documented on this is on my computer now, so just on a laptop that I have, but I have before documented that this has done things to the left and pulling to the left. So I wanted to just show you, this is, I mean, I could also give you the data that I was on full self-driving with this too. But just wanted to show you a quick video of it, which is, as you could tell, there's a lot of things that I've had said before, which is that you see up on the top up here, there's a lot of the telephone poles and the telephone poles that come over the street here, and also the high trees that are on the side on these roads that we travel on a lot. So you could tell that there's a lot of different things that when there are times when the sun sets and comes to the side and then puts these shadows into the road is where a lot of times things get affected with the car. So I'm going to just play this real quick so you could see. Basically, this is the front camera that I had for that day, and I could also play the side ones, whatever, play from there. So it goes about 15 seconds. Actually, yeah, this one says about 15 seconds. So this was on 9/26 at 11:54 in the morning. So this was on my way to, I believe this was, if I'm not mistaken, I think I was on my way to a supercharger. And at this point, I just wanted to kind of play for you to see what happens when this car, for some reason, has done it before, where it has stopped. You can see where I got the mouse over this right here, where it has stopped suddenly because this is in the middle of the road, which is basically a shadow from one of these poles that's on the right-hand side over here. But you can see that where on this here, there's a lot of it that goes in the road a lot of times, and the car does hesitate. Meaning that it's not really sure what's in the road, and it is a shadow, and it happens where the car just boots left. Now you're going to see a quick, as we're driving straight down the road, there's nothing in front of me, so what I want you to see is pay attention to, on the left-hand side here, there's a car right up in here, okay? So I want you to see is that this car has a tendency to drive down this road and then just quickly turn left. The difference on this day was that I had time, as I was watching forward, is that I seen the car pull left and I disengaged because we were about to go over the line for no reason. The car was going straight, and obviously I have to post the other part of it. But at this point, it's basically like seeing the car that was going straight, and I just took over at that point. So just let me play it real quick so you can kind of see what's happening here as we're driving down the road here. As again, I said, the car is going to be pulling out here, and you're going to see really quick. You see how that car, see how it hesitated there and then pulled back? So let me play it one more time, and you can see we make the turn, right? And then you're going to see we're going straight, and then all of a sudden, that little hesitation there. Now I want to show you something. Watch on the right-hand side here. So you can see that right on the right-hand side there. There's these shadows on the right. So I think the car, for some reason, is looking to stay away from those shadows. That's my opinion again. That the only way that I can kind of see that along this line here, you could see where the trees are and they come on this road. Obviously, it's not in the middle part of this road, but you could see that sometimes it does come over the side of the road here. Okay, and I'll play a little bit further, and then I'll stop it, and then you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. So you see, right here. So you see right here where this is in the middle of the road, and then you have these markings here from this telephone pole right here. So it's actually over the line. So one of those things where, like, it's not a matter of whether or not the car does phenomenal things, and yes, it does. The thing is that there's something that within the system that makes it specifically for my version, V12.6. And for some reason, the shadowing has affected this car. It's happened with overhangs. Now, I know people have said this before, but for me, it's affected it big time. And it's gotten better and better and better, but it does have this tendency. Now, going fast forward to where my accident happened was that it seemed like there was nothing on the road. Don't get me wrong. There was nothing on the road. I'm not blaming it on that or whatnot. What I'm saying is that some reason, something on making a left in my car, there has been times where it has done that. And this time it overcompensated for the turn, and I didn't have enough time to pull the car back. Meaning that when I got into the car, or I shouldn't say get into the car, when I got into the actual turn and I actually went into the turn to grab the wheel, I was already heading towards that truck. So it was kind of hard to really determine. And again, you can rip it apart as much as you want and whatnot. The car being that it was veering towards there, I grabbed the wheel. I wanted to avoid the accident. So that's how that happens a lot of times, because you see a lot of times where there's so many comments about our FSD and about how, you should just let it go and correct itself, or if the car is actually going into something, like I saw the hydroplaning one, is that you should just let it go and just whatever. We are there specifically to supervise the car, to see whether or not things could happen and or not happen, right? And if you are anticipating something that's going to happen bad, then you're going to try to save your car. You don't want an accident to happen. You don't want your car to run into a barrier or any of that stuff, because granted, we're all going to have our insurances go through the roof, and then it's going to be a big mess. The problem is at this point is that for me, and I've said this already, which is my stupidity came in, is that I became, as you can kind of see, there are a lot of times that people are trusting the system so much, and this was my point the other day when I put it out there, was that when you're trusting the system so much and you're anticipating the car to go straight, like I was, into that turn, I'm not looking for the car to just overturn and go into the other lane. So when I looked to the right and I grabbed my bag, what I normally do, and there was no hesitancy of the system blinking back to me saying, hey, blue, 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 you got to pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. There's none of that. So we do have that. So we do grab, like I said in the other video, which is you grab your phone, you grab something that falls on the floor, or you grab something that's in your seat, or, something on the side or whatever, and then you go back to it. It allows you a certain amount of seconds to be able to look away in order to then pay attention back to the road. The problem is, as I was going into that turn, you can tell that when I got into the turn, I was anticipating the car behind me, is that they were not coming straight at me. I was looking that way, and then all of a sudden I said, you know what? I had thought that they were. So I looked to the right. It's normal, not anything out of the crazy realm. And then my bag had slipped, like I said, and I went to grab my bag. And by the time that I grabbed my bag, it was like within a second or 2 seconds is when the car and the line was so close that the road is skinny enough that where it actually didn't allow me enough time to be able to grab the wheel, and then before I hit the car. So the only thing, like I said, was that if I was straight looking forward, if I was whatever, as far as like that paying attention, and I didn't see my bag and come over to the side and grabbed something else that was here, I had plenty of time to look back up and then be able to go straight without any incidents or any kind of disengagements or anything like that. The problem was that it happened so quick, is that I didn't have enough time to react. My reaction time was not quick enough, and it caused it. So, it's not a matter of whether or not you can see in the other videos that a lot of them I see are popping up on my feed now, which is that you can see that there are some accidents that are happening and some things that are happening with FSD engaged. And then everybody does say the same thing, which just allow it to happen, allow this to happen, allow that to happen. You're a fucking moron. Excuse my French. You're a moron if you want to allow the car to just go into another car and or hurt somebody or hurt yourself or hurt somebody in your car, whatever. We want the safety to be first. We want the safety to be there. That's the reason for it. Don't be an idiot. Don't be a fool. So this part of it is where it really pisses me off, is that people keep going back to that same thing over and over and over again. And it's frustrating enough to know that I am not looking to hurt anybody, and or the guy that got in the car and he was friggin' bloody in his face, and you think I want to kind of see that kind of stuff? No. There's no reason why I just bought my car that all of a sudden that we're going to be smashing into another car and having issues and or problems or whatever. There's nothing further from the truth. I'm without my car. My car's finished. It's totaled. And this is the situation that I find myself in, going through videos to find out exactly what happened. And that's really the only conclusion that I can come up with is obviously something went wrong there. And I'm looking back at some of the older videos to see that some of that stuff that I did see in the past has been popping up, and it is popping up. So I don't know what it could possibly be. But we are there to disengage. We are there to protect our property, to protect everything. You don't want something to happen. If you just allow something to continue and then you happen to run somebody over, you happen to run this, so you happen to do, then you are the one to blame for it. You're an idiot. You are. Plain and simple. I don't understand why that's so hard for some people. I never will understand that. You know, it's amazing that where disengaging is a problem. It's not. If you think that you're going to be in, let's say, in the cybercab, you're driving down the road. Cybercab just happens to be going straight. And all of a sudden, the cab goes to the right. You have nothing to go by. What are you going to do? Jump out of the window? Open the door? I mean, you can't be a fool. If you have a chance to disengage, you're going to. So, yeah, it's safe. Granted, it's safe. There's things that are amazing about it. It does help. But it does happen to that one little tenth of a percent, whatever it is. I happen to be one of the people that get caught in that. I just don't understand why this is so hard for people to grasp. And it's something that I will never understand. It's just amazing. It really is amazing. But I have a few more of those I'm going to go through to see if I can post them as well. I'm dealing with this whole situation where it's right now. It happens to be beneficial for me to now that I have to go through the insurance of Progressive. Now everybody's calling me. My bank is calling me. Progressive is calling me. There's obviously a process in order to get rid of the car because they have to decommission apparently or something like that. They have to drain the battery, do all kinds of stuff. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar. I have no idea. But they got to do what they got to do. I just happen to be anal, about trying to find out exactly what could have possibly have happened and how to avoid this in the future because I am going to wind up buying another one. And I still have my Model 3. I have told my daughter to not use any of it if she happens to want to use the system. Right now, just drive. It's something that I just want to be 100% on, and I will not trust the 13 or the 12.6 anymore. It has to be the newer version. Whether the newer version is a cleaner and better system for us, don't know. Obviously, it is. Everybody's saying it's amazing. We don't have it. All the legacy people that have all the other cars, they don't have that. We have the other one that they still can't fix to get to the better one, which is fine, which is okay. But I'm not going to put myself in that position anymore because then now I got to deal with this bullshit and deal with insurance and deal with all this other crap. I got to deal with a careless driving ticket that I got. It's stupid. But you can't be an idiot, disengage. If you know you're getting in an accident, you got to disengage. You can't just turn around and go, oh, Tesla's going to protect me or this one's going to, no, nobody's going to protect you. The other thing that I see with this hydroplane thing, and then all of a sudden the guy's looking for a new car and all this other bullshit, they have no responsibility to you unless the system and I don't know of that many cases that where Tesla was held responsible for a lot of that kind of stuff. But for me, there's no responsibility there. I took on responsibility knowing I'm on the supervised part of it. And, I made the mistake about doing it. And I'm paying for it. And I'm paying for it because I believe in the car. I believe in the system. I believe in what they're doing. And it was a stupid situation. And I'm hoping that Elon, whether or not he sees any of my videos. I know one time before he liked one of my videos before where I almost got T-boned. If you remember, that's pinned on the top of my X account where I almost got T-boned and the system saved me. So there are good points and bad points about a lot of stuff. This one just happens to be one of those bad ones. But it's still amazing. But I won't go back to this system. Something needs to be fixed within this part of it. And whether or not they take responsibility for it, that would be great. And whether or not they understand that there are, glitches and things like that that happen within the system, I have no idea. Because shadows are a problem. There are a lot of little things that really spook the car. Heartbreaking happens. You guys are driving the ones that are newer. I get it. They probably don't happen as often, but for me, it happened, quite often. I've had my cameras fixed twice, and I did it by Tesla, mostly because I didn't want to have it where, hey, you took down your system and, maybe you got something on it. No, I went to the dealer to actually get it done twice, and they cleaned my cameras. So, who knows? Don't know. But I know one thing's for sure is that this is a situation where I'm really disappointed in the whole thing. I do want my car back. I missed that car. And I'm pissed. But I'll get through it, as I always do. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. But just be safe again.